There are maps made of paper and ink, showing roads, rivers, and cities. But there are other maps too, the ones we carry inside us, made of memories and feelings. Women have always been the keepers of these internal maps, remembering the small, important places that official maps forget. They hold the stories of homes, gardens, and street corners. This is a story about a place that lives on both kinds of maps, yet exists on neither, a vanished playground. It appears on old city maps from decades ago, but today, only the stories of the women who remember it remain. These playgrounds are like ghosts in the city's history, marked on maps but missing from records. No permits, no newspaper articles, no official trace. The only proof is in the minds of those who once played there. Their memories are the living archive of these lost spaces. This story is about more than a missing playground. It's about how we remember and what we choose to forget. The official story of a city is told through buildings and documents, but the real story is found in the spaces in between. It's in the laughter of children on a slide that no one can prove was ever there. It's about the power of collective memory, especially women's memory, to hold on to places the world has tried to erase. We begin by looking at these old maps, treasure maps to a place that no longer exists. Each line and symbol promises a story. The pieces are scattered across dusty archives and vivid recollections. As we put them together, we're not just rebuilding a playground, we're rebuilding a lost part of history. We're learning to trust the maps drawn by memory, showing not just where things were, but what they meant. The mystery begins with a discrepancy. Old city maps from the 1950s to 1970s clearly show small parks labeled playground tucked between residential streets. These maps are official, printed by city planning departments. Yet, in the park's department archives, there's nothing, no files, no blueprints, no maintenance logs. City council minutes mention big parks, but these small playgrounds are absent. It's as if they were built by ghosts, existing only on paper. How can a place be so clearly marked, yet have no paper trail? Today, these sites are parking lots, office buildings, or overgrown lots. No trace of a playground remains. The physical world aligns with the silent archives, not the old maps. This absence makes the memories of those who played there vital. Without their testimony, the playgrounds would be nothing more than a strange error on a few old maps. The question remains, were these playgrounds ever real, or were they erased from history? Speak to the women who grew up in these neighborhoods, and the story changes. The bureaucratic void fills with vivid memories. Women recall the playgrounds with startling clarity. The hot metal slide, the squeaky swings, the dizzying merry-go-round. The details are precise. The feel of gravel, the smell after rain, the color of the monkey bars. These are not generic memories. They're tied to a real place. Beyond the physical, they remember the emotional landscape. A world of independence, friendship, and bravery. That playground was our kingdom, one woman said. It belonged to us. The stories are nearly identical, even from women who never met. It's as if they're all describing the same place, hundreds of miles apart. This collective testimony forms a powerful counter-narrative to the official silence. It suggests these playgrounds were real, significant, and widespread. They were a shared chapter in the childhoods of a generation, a chapter left out of the history books. The memories endure, even as the playgrounds themselves have vanished. The truth of these places lives on in the stories of those who remember. The search for physical evidence leads to nothingness. If a playground existed, there should be something left. A broken slide, a concrete footing, an old signpost. But the ground is sterile. The earth itself seems to have forgotten. City planners and historians have scoured archives. Zoning applications, park budgets, public works contracts. The records are detailed in every other respect, but for these playgrounds the pages are blank. No funding requests, no construction contracts, no safety reports. It's a perfect bureaucratic void. This absence is unsettling, not just forgotten, but seemingly never existing. How could dozens of playgrounds be built and removed without a single piece of paper filed? The women's memories are vivid, yet unsupported by any official or physical proof. The story of the lost playgrounds challenges what we consider real history. Some histories are kept only in the hearts and minds of those who lived them. Why do women remember these playgrounds most? The answer lies in the social structures of the time. In the 1950s and 60s, mothers managed the home and took children to the park, weaving their lives into these local spaces. The playground was a central hub for mothers, not just children. Men's routines often took them away from these neighborhood spaces. So, the memory of these playgrounds became deeply embedded in women's experience. Yet, women's stories, centered on home and community, have often been dismissed as soft history. The memories of these women are living testimony to a history never written down. They are the keepers of the unseen places, the unofficial historians of forgotten communities. What happened to these playgrounds? Several theories try to explain their disappearance. Some say they were temporary installations by private groups, set up on vacant lots with informal permission. Others point to urban renewal, playgrounds built on land slated for future development, removed when new projects began. Another theory suggests a secret, unrecorded social program provided play spaces quickly, bypassing bureaucracy. Mapmakers recorded what they saw, creating the only official record. Some playgrounds may have served temporary housing communities, dismantled when families moved on. Each theory offers clues, but without evidence, the true story remains locked in the past. The mystery endures, kept alive by memory. The disappearance of these playgrounds is a political act, even if unintentional. Replacing play areas with parking lots or offices signals a city's priorities, commerce over community. Spaces for care and connection are often the first sacrificed for progress. Cities are planned for efficiency and profit, not for the quiet places where people connect. A playground doesn't generate revenue. In economic terms, it's wasted space. The removal of these playgrounds is the triumph of economic logic over human-centered urban life. When women remember the playground, they recall a time when community well-being mattered. Their memories resist the idea that everything must be useful or profitable. The story of the lost playgrounds shows that history is a battleground of memory. The histories of ordinary people are fragile, preserved in stories and emotional connections. To forget these playgrounds is to accept a version of history where they never mattered. Collective memory is powerful. When many remember the same forgotten place, it becomes evidence, a truth that stands against official silence. By sharing their stories, women validate and reinforce their memories, transforming them into shared history. Online forums and social media have become virtual meeting places for these memories. Someone posts an old map, and suddenly a flood of stories appears. These digital conversations recreate the community that once existed around the playground. Sharing does more than preserve the past. It reclaims it. It asserts that these experiences mattered, that history is found in laughter and conversation, not just in documents. The shared stories of these women are a living monument to the lost playgrounds. The story of the mysterious playgrounds is about the value of personal testimony. It teaches us to listen to stories not written down, to trust memories passed through generations. The absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. The women who remember these playgrounds are cartographers of a lost world. These forgotten spaces matter. They represent play, connection, and community. Remembering them honors the past and the values it held. Ask the women in your life about the lost places they remember. By sharing and preserving these stories, we reclaim the parts of our past that have been paved over. The mysterious playgrounds may be gone, but in remembering, we ensure their spirit endures.